When it comes to haircut shears, you can pick whether you want right-handed or left-handed shears, as well as you can go ahead and pick the size. In case you have a cockapoo, for example, I would suggest to get a shorter, smaller shear, because it's just going to be way easier to maneuver around the doggy. It's going to be faster for you to get used to it, since the surface you need to be aware of and keep in mind is way shorter. In case you have a larger breed, even a medium one, like Labradoodle, Golden Doodle, you're probably gonna be better off with the longer shear, because it's just gonna give you way faster results, especially in case you're leaving the coat longer than 2 inches long, since the snap-on comb is that's the max for snap-on comb length. And for winter time, most of the parents love to keep the doggy's coat longer than 2 inches, so the shear will help you to trim the doggy a little bit and give a nice and shaggy and even look. There are straight, curved, and texturing shears out there on the market, and in my opinion, for trimming doodles, you're gonna be best off with thinning shears. They will enable you to work super fast, which your doggy and your back will appreciate tremendously, and they will leave no lines. In case you get a thinning shear like this one, which has a little bit more gap between the teeth than these two, then it's gonna be the speedy tool for you. You can use it all over the doggy, and it will leave 0 lines. You can set the length on the doggy with this shear really well and super easily and fast. When it comes to the head area, I like to use this haircut shear first and then follow up with this one and even sometimes this one. That will give you an amazingly even and very detailed look on the face. The reason why I love thinning shears way more, especially for beginners, than straight shears is because straight shears will leave crazy lines. And whenever we are beginners and we are learning how to keep the shear straight, then it's gonna take time. And even if you are learning, and even meanwhile you're learning and maybe moving around the shear a little bit, it's not gonna be significantly noticeable on the coat. A very important feature on the shears, you need to get one with a finger rest. That's gonna help you huge keeping the shear nice and sturdy, because keeping it nice and sturdy will not only result in a more even looking trim, but also it's gonna keep you safe whenever it comes to trimming the doggy around sensitive areas. Haircut shears are super sharp. Remember when I did the little trick with the pre-haircut shear, then I squeezed my finger and it did not cut, just left a line? Now I would never dare to do that with the haircut shears, ever. We really want to avoid getting skin around the sharp edges in there. There are more and more shears coming up on the market with this feature, and I want you to know about this because, especially if you have multiple dogs, it's gonna give you a huge advantage with your hands. If you can get a shear with a swivel thumb, that will mean you don't have to hold your fingers in a way that it will support this angle only. This will help you to angle your hands in a way that not only will support this angle, which regular shears come with, like this one, but it will also help you to keep your finger way more comfortable when it comes to trimming doggy hair. It might look weird at first, but it's so incredibly easy to get used to them, because this is the natural, easy way your body wants to hold its thumb. And actually, once you try these, it's going to be very hard to go back to the old shears, the old style shears. This swivel thumb will be especially helpful whenever you're working on the doggy's inner thigh from the outside and you need to reach that area. Haircut shears are amazing to do hairstyles. However, I highly recommend you not using it, not even try or attempt to use it around the paw pads, because whenever they get around skin, it's gonna be very, very likely that you're gonna trim off a layer of the skin or not whole patch. So when it's gonna come to paw hair trim, you need to use the pre-haircut shear to do that. And whenever it comes to shaping up the paws, you're just gonna go around the pads with the thinning shear or haircut shears, whatever you choose to use. Though it's a fairly quiet tool, I still like to introduce it as for sniffs and sounds for the doggy. So when it comes to me doing a haircut with shears, I let the doggy sniff it, and then I will use it, make the sound away from the doggy, and they will be comfortable with it while I'm using it on them. Angling of the shear on the doggy. You want to use it parallel with the hair grain, with the hair growth. So for example, on the back, you can go parallel with the spine. On the sides, you can go parallel with the ribs most of the time, because that's way the hair is growing, the hair grain is going. Parallel with the legs, parallel with the tail when you lift to the top, so it's more like an extension of the spine at that point, and use it parallel with the bone. You can use the thinning shears all over the body except for the paw hair, and whenever it comes to using it around the anus, you want to use the shear away from the skin. When it comes to using it around the anus area, I like to use it away from the skin, leaving around 3/4 of an inch, at least 3/4 of an inch distance between the butthole and the hair around there, to make sure we're not gonna get closer to the skin than we want to. When you're using the shear, beyond the holding technique, how to hold it, grab it in your hands, I want you to know that you need to use it parallel with the skin. Not like this, not like this way. That's gonna give you the most even trim, because you're gonna constantly keep the same distance from the skin. Where do I use thinning shears? Especially around the head and ears and tail, and evening up the legs and blending in the haircut around the body and legs and head, neck and the tail. If you really want to buy a curved shear, you absolutely can, but I really don't see the point, because you're gonna do amazingly even and round looks on the face with thinning shears. You can use the thinning shears on any age, but I especially love to use them on puppies, because puppies are, for one, tiny, and sometimes the clipper will be a little bit too big for them, but also they can get scared of the sound and sensation of the clipper, so you're gonna save the day using shears for the full body trim.